Hello and welcome to another episode of Handloader TV. I'm your host Jeremiah, and we're starting out this video a little bit different than we normally do. As you can see, we're on the range right now and not in the photo studio, and we're doing something a little bit different subject matter wise. I have my personal 280 Ackley Improved. This is a custom built Remington 700 here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about developing hand loads for hunting, or hand loads for hunting. So this is in collaboration with a Handloader magazine article that will be published in the next issue of Handloader at the time of this filming. And I want to kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on, what we've done so far, and what I personally do to develop hand loads for hunting. This isn't the only method of load development that I use, but it is one that I'm using for this particular hunt and this particular rifle. And we thought it would be a lot of fun if you would join us and follow along as we work up loads. So let's go ahead and bring you up to speed really quick on what we've done so far to develop this final form factor load that we're going to put to the test now on paper and zero the rifle to. So walking you through exactly what I did to start development for my hand loads for hunting, I went ahead and selected the Barnes 139 grain LRX bullet. It's a personal favorite of mine. I've used it successfully on Arizona mule deer and had extremely impressive terminal performance with this bullet, and I've seen the first-hand results of what it can do on game. So I selected that bullet because that's what I wanted to shoot out of this rifle. I know the rifle's capable of shooting this bullet well, and I know the terminal performance is good, which is a critical factor when selecting a bullet for a hunt. Then I went ahead and selected 3 different powders to put to the test, and we shot those off camera. We already have the results here. We'll plug in those as we review them. So first up, I'll walk you through the first load that I tried. This is using Alliant Reloader 23 powder, a 59 grain charge with 139 grain Barnes LRX bullet, Peterson cases, CCI BR2 primers, which I'm personally a big fan of in the 280 Ackley Improved as you start to get up into the near Magnum category of cartridges, but it's not quite justifiable for a Magnum rifle primer. I found the CCI BR2 fills that gap rather nicely. So I loaded up 10 rounds with each of these different powders here, and I wanted to put them to the test. I only had a limited amount of bullets to work with, so I wanted to be rather selective in my testing. I kind of already knew where the start charge was from previous testing, and I knew where the maximum charge was. So this is very close to maximum. I shot 10 rounds with this load. I got a standard deviation of 7.7 and an average velocity of 3,258 feet per second and an extreme spread of about 22 feet per second. So all in all, really, really good results there. I'm very pleased with that first load. And then rolling right along to the next powder that I put to the test with that same LRX bullet, it was StaBALL 6.5. In previous articles and testing that we've conducted here at Handloader magazine, Winchester StaBALL 6.5 is an extremely temperature stable propellant, and that's a big reason why I chose to use this propellant and all these propellants that I put to the test here so far. And overall, I was very, very pleased with the results here. And we got a standard deviation of 15.8 and an average velocity of 3,211 feet per second. Then the test procedure kind of changed. I switched over to Hodgdon H4831 shortcut powder, a 61.5 grain charge. And as you can see here, as we plug this target up in here, it wasn't that great of a group. And I wasn't impressed overall with the standard deviation of 12 and the extreme spread there. And to be honest with you, I was really hoping to hit 3,200 feet per second. We came really close to that, just short at 3,172. So then I went ahead and ceased testing after 5 shots. I bumped up the charge weight to 62.5 grains because there was plenty of room to work up there. And then I retested the 5-shot group, which will plug in the target there with that 62.5 grain charge with a 139 LRX. We got a standard deviation of 6.4, an extreme spread of 16, and an average velocity of 3,214 feet per second. The only thing is the group was a little bit larger than I wanted. It broke an inch, and I was really hoping to keep 10 shots inside of an inch for the final test of the load. So I went ahead and I settled with my very first powder and charge weight combination that I tried, which was Alliant Reloader 23 powder with 59 grain charge with that 139 LRX bullet. It grouped just under an inch with that, and I was very pleased with the overall performance of that. So now you're completely up to speed on what I've done so far to develop these loads, and I apologize, the targets in the photos are a little bit crunchy because they did get rained on at one point, and this load development was strung out over several days, and that's why we couldn't film it all. But now, to put the load to the test before this hunt and zero the rifle to this load, what we're going to go ahead and do is fire a 20 round group with that load with this rifle and see how it groups, and then I can zero my rifle off that, and we'll walk you through all that. The target is downrange at 100 yards, and for all of our velocity recording, we're using a Garmin C10 Pro chronograph, an excellent unit that's really been revolutionary on the chronograph market. And we'll go ahead and put this final load to the test. So let's go ahead and get settled in, and we'll put 20 rounds on the paper. Okay, so really quick, the temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity is 13.2%, and barometric pressure when adjusted for altitude is 30.40 in Hg. So there's our weather report according to our Kestrel 5700. It's pretty warm for a Arizona fall day, but got to do what you got to do to develop your loads. And I'll have to reload this rifle along the way because it only holds 5 rounds in the magazine, and we're going to be putting 20 rounds on paper. I want a really good zero with this rifle, and I want to make sure that this is indeed a good load, and shooting 20 rounds, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to do that, even 25. So we're going to shoot 5, let the barrel cool, and then we'll fast forward through that and keep shooting. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to go ahead and reload the rifle, let the barrel cool a little bit, and we'll pick it back up. All right, once again, we'll go ahead and reload the rifle, let the barrel cool, It's pretty warm. It's a hot day, so we want to make sure we get those cold bore shots in there. We'll go ahead and reload the rifle, let the barrel cool for a minute. Okay, so now we have 20 rounds on paper, and let's go ahead and talk about the load itself. This is a very good load in this rifle. We got a standard deviation of just 7.5, average velocity of 3,259 feet per second, and an extreme spread of only 27. So all in all, from a load perspective, I'm very pleased with that, using 59 grains of Alliant Reloader 23 powder, the Peterson cases, and the CCI BR2 primers, with my personal favorite hunting bullet for this rifle, the 139 grain Barnes LRX. I actually know of somebody who took a moose with this exact bullet at over 600 yards, so it's a very good bullet. Terminal performance is stellar with it. And after shooting those 20 shots on paper, we got a group size of 1.55 inches as measured with the Hornady group analysis tool in the Hornady app. And the neat thing about this tool is not only does it give you a group size, but it also gives you mean radius, which measured out to 0.38 inches. And if you're familiar with that group measurement term, that mathematical equation for group analysis, that's pretty dang good, especially in a rifle like this. Very pleased with that. And another neat feature of the app here is the fact that it has the elevation and windage offset. So my windage was pretty good. It's only off by 0.06 inches, which I kind of figured that going in. But the elevation, it does need to come up 1.72 inches. So all in all, I'm very pleased with that. I'm going to zero my rifle to this load and make a scope adjustment of 1.75 inches. And then I'll be zeroed and ready to hit the woods and hopefully harvest some game this fall. I really like this Hornady app for this kind of stuff. It just makes it easier. Of course, you can measure it yourself if so desired, but it saves right here on your phone. That's what I'm looking at here. And then I can reference that if need be. And I also have my average velocity recorded in my notes, and there's more and more things that you get done with these phones, and it's nice to see that the shooting community is catering to that as well with neat tools like this. So I'm very excited to hit the woods. We've got a fall mule deer tag that this rifle will be going on, as well as a December elk hunt that this rifle will be going on, likely using this load here. So now I am confident in it. And one thing that I should point out, shooting 20 rounds, some of those flyers might have been on me. I could have very easily pulled 1 in 20 shots, or 2 in 20 shots, or even 3 in 20 shots. But at least now I know and I'm confident in my rifle, my load, and my zero. I've put plenty of data on the paper, and I can hit the woods with confidence. If I miss, I know that's on me. It's not the rifle, it's not the load, it's not the optic, it's not the rings. This is good to go as is. And I would highly encourage you guys, as you plan out your hunting trips and your hand loading for hunting, this is a great opportunity to load up 20, 30 rounds and put them on the paper and see what your rifle actually does. The results might just surprise you. And I see a lot of people who will go on the bench, shoot 3 shots, and then adjust their zero. Well, that's all fine and dandy, except if your rifle shoots 1.5 inches, you could be chasing your zero around a 1.5 inch mark. Using this method, you're getting a very confident zero. You know that 1.5 inch group is gonna hit center because you've adjusted for that. And it really reduces the amount of error you have in your zero. So we hope you enjoyed this rather short and different video. If you'd like to see more content like this, please let us know in the comments section below. And as always, give us a thumbs up, let us know that you liked what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon as well so you're notified when we post our next video. We've got a lot of exciting content in the works. I've got a couple more varmint rifles out here on the range today that we're going to be filming some content with, and I hope you'll stick around to see them. So thank you so much, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.